We've heard a lot from the renters' perspective during this pandemic, but how are landlords feeling about the chance that they won't maybe receive rental payments until late October? That has got to be a stressful reality right now. So we want to be talking to Carrick Sears, who is a landlord here in the Valley, joining us now for some perspective on this. And I imagine you were awaiting a change in policy. What do you say about how this impacts your livelihood?
Yeah, Olivia, it's really hard to please everyone, certainly in this. And from the landlord perspective, this was not a good thing. It's really best on our perspective to have less government interference, less restrictions. And so this is essentially tying a landlord's hands, not allowing a landlord to evict a tenant that's not paying their rent.
And it's natural that our empathy goes to people who are struggling to pay the bills, right? But then that trickle-down effect in the economy is really significant. It seems to me that there is a lot of ambiguity about what will happen when this is lifted. So if somebody has not been paying any portion of their rent the entire time, how could they possibly dig themselves out of a hole? How would you, as a landlord, handle that? And what would happen in November?
I've certainly heard from a lot of owners that there are some tenants who have lost their jobs and then they're getting the unemployment to the tune of $840 a week right now, and they're just choosing not to pay the rent. And so that's the tough spot. Like, they're just pocketing the money right now, and they were never really planning on paying the rent, and now they're going to be they were planning on vacating the apartment on July 23rd. And now they have another 3 months of essentially carte blanche, a place to live without eviction. And they're going to move out probably November 1st, really usurping the landlord's property for 7 months. And Olivia, this is not California. This is Arizona. And we're known to be a very landlord-friendly state. And that's why my clients, as a multifamily broker, why they've invested here and why I've invested here as an investor myself. And so I think what's really important is what we need is a continuation of federal unemployment supplementation. The Arizona norm of $240 a week is just not enough. $6 an hour is really hard for someone to survive on. And so this is the time for our state to realize that our unemployment is too low. $840 a week for everyone across the board can be really excessive and actually a disincentive for one to return to work, especially for those who hold a job that pays between $12 to $21 an hour in that case. But we definitely need continued funds for tenants to be able to help pay their rent that need assistance.
As we wrap up, do you think that a lot of property owners are going to end up losing their properties, or do you just think that long term it will de-incentivize those to invest here?
I think we'll be all right. Generally so far this has not been a problem in Arizona. In fact, nationally, 96% of tenants paid their rent in June, and that was the same as a year ago, pre-COVID. And so what we're worried about is that when this $600 per week for unemployment assistance supplementation runs out the end of July, we're going to have some issues. But generally, our tenants have done the right thing and paid their rent when they have the money to pay it. And so I think we're going to be all right, and we'll be able to weather the storm for the next 90 days. But it does bother some landlords. Currently, we have about 3% of tenants who are not paying the rent and really taking this to their advantage.
All right, we thank you so much for sharing your perspective, too. There were just every decision that is made impacts every member of our community in a different way. So we really appreciate talking to you this morning. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you, Olivia.